Here's this week's edition of the People's Church News. Join us for EmpowerU every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. in our lower level as we feature the book Living Victoriously in Difficult Times with Pastor Q. It's a G1 summer experience. Go ahead and purchase your tickets for our Six Flags trip on July 12th, departing at 10:45 a.m. But wait, you have to purchase your ticket now. The bus only has 55 slots available, and car riders must still register. Register now on our website by scanning the QR code or visiting us at pvbcva.org/events. Ladies, are you ready? The Her Story Women's Ministry is back for Rejuvenation 25, and tickets are now on sale. You can purchase your tickets on our website at pvbcva.org/events or scan the QR code on the screen. Tickets are only $50 and they are ready to have an amazing experience at Rejuvenation 25. G1 is back outside this Sunday for a Sunday Field Day. Be sure to bring your student out for a morning of fun, food, and most of all, exciting games. The suggested attire is plain white t-shirts and athletic gear.
Amen. God bless you. Matthew 26:20-25. When evening had come, he sat down with the 12. Now as they were eating, he said, "Assuredly, I say to you, one of you will betray me." And they were exceedingly sorrowful. And each of them began to say to him, "Lord, is it I?" And he answered and said, "He who dipped his hand with me in the dish will betray me. The Son of Man indeed goes just as it is written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. For it would have been good for that man if he had not been born." Then old Judas, who was betraying him, answered and said, "Rabbi, is it I?" And Jesus said to him, "You have said it. Yes, it's you." You may be seated. In this wise life, in this wise life, in this wise life, and living wise, we want to talk about today a seat at the table. As a household of faith would just repeat that after me: a seat at the table. Brothers and sisters, Juneteenth is more than just a day of remembrance. It is a symbol of resilience, unity, and the power of individuals who had the courage to sit at the table and make bold, life-changing decisions. And on June 19th, 1865, it was Union General Gordon Granger who arrived in Galveston, Texas, to announce the emancipation of enslaved people. 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, the announcement of freedom didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of tirelessly advocacy, strategy, and resistance. These were people who understood the value of sitting at the table, not just for their own benefit, but for the future of generations to come. It was through these discussions and negotiations, and sometimes having to be done in secret, that our freedom was won. And oh, brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you that even in this part of your life, you have to be more concerned about the tables that you're sitting at. That there has to be some people here that says, I can't just be bought any kind of way. Can I get some witnesses in here? It has to be still important for some people in here, especially people of color, people, amen, of our culture that is concerned in this season that I just won't sit at any table. This brings us to the question that we all must consider here today. Who is at your table? Just as the freedom fighters of Juneteenth bravely sat at the table to bring change, we must be careful about who we allow to sit with us, who we share our plans and our lives with. In the same way Jesus had Judas at his table, even though he knew the betrayal that awaited him. Why did Jesus allow Judas to have a seat at the table? What does that teach us about relationships? Pastor, how does that teach me about a wise life and the consequences of betrayal? Because as we look at Father's Day, Juneteenth, and the wise life, let's explore the impact of who we invite to sit with us at our tables, and the power and the presence or the betrayal that we have once had or currently have in our lives. It was Martin Luther King Jr. who once said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." Dr. King's words resonate with us as we reflect on Juneteenth and the significance of coming together at the table. Whether it was the brave men and women who fought for freedom, we now celebrate on Juneteenth leaders like Dr. King who spoke out for justice, equality, and opportunity. The power of unity at the table is undeniable. It's at the table where change begins. It's at the table where wisdom is shared. It's at the table where the course of history is altered. But unity at the table doesn't come without challenges. Sometimes, can I tell you this? Sometimes betrayal will sit right next to you at the table. Oh, y'all ain't helping me. And as it did with Judas at the Last Supper, it's not enough to have a seat at the table. For our focus must be on what do we do with the seat and who we allow to sit next to us. Oh, brothers and sisters, I'll let you know, I have went out to eat with certain people, and contingent upon how I seen them ate the last time we went to eat. Y'all ain't helping me. It's some folk I don't even like to sit next to me because the way they eat is just too nasty, and it interrupts. Y'all ain't helping me in here. And I come to recognize in this season of my life, I can't have everybody sitting next to me because we just don't operate the same. I wish I had some people in here. You would quit trying to force people to sit next to you at the table when you recognize this seat ain't for everybody. I wish I had some people that'll help me in this seat and say this seat is taken. I wish I had some people here that told somebody before this seat is taken. Make a fact, y'all don't did it in church. Somebody came and wanted to sit next to you. You talking about this seat is taken. And I wish I had some people that can be authoritative today and say, I got to get a point to my life that I got to tell certain people this seat is taken. Everybody can't be in this season. Everybody can't be called a friend. I wish I had 3 people that can shout back to me and say, this seat is. I got 5 of y'all. I got 5 of y'all. Because I've come to understand that 2 people are people putting empty seats in your table. And it's causing you to think that everybody got to fill up all these seats around you. But sometimes you got to rediscover who you're allowing to sit at your table. Brothers and sisters, let me give you 5 hot points and we'll be out of here because it's Father's Day. But ain't no restaurants packed today. We ain't got to worry about that. It's just Father's Day. Ain't no gifts or no giraffes on the side of the road like Mother's Day. It's okay, fathers. Even the young lady who got up and said, don't worry about it. Y'all ain't going to get in there today. She even already told us. So we just going to preach the message and keep it on going. Don't worry about it, fathers. We already know it ain't our day. Amen. 5 points, and I'm going to get out y'all way. No giraffes, no nothing. No pit bulls or nothing on the side of the road for dads today. Point 1, write this down and we get out of here. Point 1, your presence at the table. Write it down, your presence at the table. Psalms 1:1-2 reminds us, blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but who delight is in the law of the Lord. The people you allow to sit at your table impacts your life direction. The wisdom of choosing the right company cannot be overstated. Judas was present at the table with Jesus, yet his presence was destructive. Ooh. I said he was present at the table, but his presence was destructive. Have you ever known people when you see them come, you say, oh, Lord, she finna start something. Y'all ain't helping me. You ever seen somebody come in the room, you be like, oh, Lord, she finna just start some mess. I ain't gonna say just she, but you know, people that's like that because they carry a personality that even at their presence, it is not productive. You don't want to live a life where people already assume that your presence ain't productive. Oh my God, here it is. Judas is sitting at the table. And just as Judas was physically at the table, we must ask ourselves, are the people we invite into our lives nourishing to our lives? Are the people that you're inviting into your life, are they people that are complementing what God has designed and destined for your life? The people that you're allowing in your life, does it align up with what God is getting ready to do in the next season of your life? Because I've come to understand, I remember there was a man who told me something. He said, man, I forgave a person who came into my house and stole everything. He said, yes, I forgave him. I said, man, that's powerful. He said, yeah, I know him and everything. He said, but guess what? They can't come to my house no more. I wish I had somebody who didn't miss that. It's okay to forgive people, but some people, you just can't let them back in your space no more. You got to get to a place that I ain't mad at you, but this ain't the space for you. Look at somebody and say, this seat is taken. Here's the presence of Judas. The presence of Judas at the table, because here it is, Judas sitting at the table like he don't even know Jesus talking to him. Jesus said, the same person who dipped their hand in the dish with me, same person who's sitting here with me, the same person who's in the room with me, he said, yeah, that person, somebody in here is going to betray me. You got to be very careful in this season of your life. I wish I had 5 people who could say, Pastor, I'm ready to go to another level in my life. I'm ready for God to elevate me in my life. I'm ready for God to do some mysterious things in my life. I'm looking for blessings I ain't never seen happen in my life. And sometimes God can't do that because who you got seated with you at your table. Oh, help me. I like to play spades. Ooh, I'm a spades player. Anybody else play spades? Better not play me because I talk trash. I talk trash at the table. I'm finna tell you, I talk trash at the table. I get my cards, Christian, and I be looking at my hand. Can I tell you something? Even if I ain't got nothing, I still talk trash. You ain't gonna know I ain't got. I wish I had 5 people in here that say in this season I'm gonna still talk. Because even if I ain't got what I don't want to have yet, God is about to give me the hand that I need. And I'm gonna talk victoriously. I'm gonna say I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. That there's favor on my life. Is there anybody who could change how you talk at the table? But when I get 3 bad hands, don't fool around and give me that big joker. I told much trash then because I be knowing something. Now here's the thing. There's a couple things you can learn at the card table. Because I've come to learn when you got the right partner. When you got the right partner at the table. When you got a bad hand, your partner on the other side is saying, don't worry about it. Oh, y'all don't play no spades. I got us. Is there anybody in here that says in this season, I need a partner that when everything ain't going good, my partner got my back? Is there anybody in here who says I'm that kind of partner? When my friends ain't doing well, when my family ain't doing well, when my coworkers ain't doing well, I got your... It is. It is. It is. I've come to discover even my partner. Now here's what I like about a good partner. You know what I like about a good partner? Even, oh Lord help me. Even mothers, now I'm a good spades player. I told you I talk trash, even when I ain't got a good hand. I told you I normally have a good partner. But can I tell you, I didn't always win. Okay, here it is. Oh, glory. You got to have people in this season of your life that even when you don't win, when they leave the table, they still dap you up and be like, that's okay. We'll get them next time. Okay, what you saying? You need people in your life that when you fall down, you still got some people that still believe in you. When you sin, they still believe believe in you. I wish I had somebody here that says I haven't always been perfect, but thank be to God to some people that had mercy and grace in my life. I wish I had somebody. Just snap your own hand and say, I'm good. Snap your own. I'm a good player. Is there anybody who can give God glory right in here that you glad that God has been your partner? All right, here. Okay. So I know y'all asked. I know you're thinking about it. You're saying, well, Pastor, you talked about the big joker. You didn't tell us about the big joker. When God puts the big joker in your hand, here's what you have to do in the season of not having a good hand. Because see, something happens when you don't have a good hand. You still gotta talk trash. Oh, that's okay. We got this. You still gotta talk to yourself. That's why it's very important in this season of your life. You got to be very careful how you talk to yourself. You got to be very careful, because even at the spade table, even when I knew I didn't have a bad hand, I didn't let nobody else know it, but I kept talking to myself. I said, ooh, my hand gonna come. And when my hand come, everybody in this room, because one thing I learned, Crystal, that at the table, although it's us at the table, watch this, it was spectators. Oh. Can I help you? Your behavior at the table in this season is going to dictate how other people, watch this, play their game. Okay, you ain't understanding what just happened. It's some people right now that's trying to walk like you because how you act. There's some people that's trying to study your talk. There's some people that try to dress like you. There's some people, watch this, they don't even start talking like you because they've seen how you operate at the table. So here it is. The big joker comes. Now, I had to be humbled because I don't know what culture y'all come from, but I am African American. I'm black. Yeah, let me help y'all out. In my culture, the way you acknowledge the big joker, you have to do something. There's something that happens when you get the big joker, Jacinta, in my culture, and in the black house. You just can't get the big joker and be quiet. You just can't get the big joker and not make some type. You don't just get the big joker and not show some indication that you got the highest card in the deck. Okay, y'all missed your place to shout. When God does something in your life, when it's a blessing, you know you about to share. It's like when the elder saint says, I just couldn't keep it. Y'all must have been at the table, so here it is. Raven, in my culture and my generation, I don't know how y'all play spades, but for us older people, the way they would know you got the big joker, you slap it on your head. Everybody at the table knew you had that big joker, because it was right on your head. Even the people that was looking at the table knew. We don't know what else is in his hands, but we do know he got the big joker. Why you shout so much, Pastor? Because I lifted up my head in this season, and I've allowed people to look at what's going on in my life. Because guess what? God has put a blessing on your life. He's put some favor on your life. I wish I had 5 people in here that says the favor that God has put on my life. I ain't got to talk about it. You can see it. I ain't got to post it. You can see it. There'll be 5 of y'all that says, I'm glad that he put favor. Oh, look around the room and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, I'm glad that I got favor. Hey! This kind of favor This kind of favor, you got to talk about it in this season. God will put a favor on you that you don't even have to speak about. But can I tell y'all, sometimes I still lost, even with the big joker. The shout is great. The mood is great. But what do you do when you still have to deal with what's going on at the table? You had the big joker. You won a couple of games. But now you're at the table and you're no longer winning. Can I suggest to you, even in the game of spades, winning is contingent upon who is sitting at the table with you. Why do you say this, Pastor? Because I've played with rookies. Oh, boy, this is going to help y'all. In this season of your life, you don't have time to deal with the rookies. I'm just going to teach you a little bit, and I'm going to be done, because ain't no restaurant pack I can just get in there and eat anyway. Write this down. Some people are professional with calling you out when you fall, but they are rookies with lifting you up when you need them. Let me say that one more time. Some people are professionals with celebrating your downfall, but they are rookies with lifting you up from when you've fallen. You'll be able to discover who's at your table, contingent about the behavior at the table. So watch this. Not only do you have to understand your presence at the table, but guess what? You got to understand your purpose at the table. Somebody shout, my purpose at the table. All right, give me about 13 hot minutes and 27 seconds. When Jesus sat at the table with his disciples, he was clear about his purpose. The Last Supper wasn't just a meal. It wasn't just some chicken nuggets. It wasn't just a two-piece. It wasn't just, amen, some fish from JJ's. It was a moment to prepare his followers from the days ahead. I seen two men say that's probably what we're getting for Father's Day. Your purpose at the table should align with your divine mission. If you're sitting at any table but it does not align with your divine mission, you're at the wrong table. Wish I had somebody. When you sit at tables, it should align with your divine mission. Just as the freedom fighters of Juneteenth had a clear purpose in mind, we must ensure that conversations and interactions we engage in serve a greater purpose. We must ensure that conversations and interactions we engaged in serve a greater purpose. In this season of our African American culture, it's not just enough to have conversations, but if you're having a conversation, how are you building something up? Are you building anything? Are you tearing somebody down? What is the purpose of your conversations? Brothers and sisters, you got to be very careful in this season, because there are people who are having conversations that have no substance to it. But there are people that have conversations, and watch this, that says, I come not to tear you down, but I come to build you up. If you want to have the right people at your table in this season, just listen how they talk to you. Listen to the things they're saying, because the people that needs to be with you in this table need to be able to build you and to push you into the season that God will have for you. You ought to have some people that says, I know you fail, but you gonna get better. I know it's looking rough right now, but you're about to go through a blessed season. You need people that's at the table with you that has a positive voice. It is. Judas, on the other hand, did not align with Jesus' purpose at the table. He was there with an ulterior motive. Can I share with y'all? I know y'all think everybody love you. I know you think everybody like you. I got about 6,000 Facebook friends. Ain't none of them jokes can't help me when I needed help. I ain't really got 6,000 friends. I do got 6,000 nosy folk. I do got 6,000 nosy. You got to be very careful not understanding the difference between real friends and investigators. Some people only close to you because they're just trying to get what they want to know about you. Oh, can I help you? But a real friend will call you and say, listen, I know you're going through something, and I know you needed $20. Here go 20. I ain't got time to get involved with all that other stuff. You better do what you need to do this 20. We'll talk later. And they go about their business. Nosy folk gonna say, tell me what's going on, and then I'll give you 20. You got to be very careful of who's sitting at your table in this season. The moment highlights a critical teaching point. Watch this, because here it was with an ulterior motive. He sought to betray the one who had trusted him. How many of you have put your trust in somebody and they betrayed you? How many of you have loved somebody? Oh, Lord, ain't nobody up here been loved before? And they betrayed you. Some of you got tattoos with her name on you. And they betray. Y'all ain't helping me in here. You thought it was a good idea to go get matching tattoos. And they betrayed you. Am I talking real in here? Am I talking good? Because when you put your trust in people and not in God, betrayal will always break you down. The moment highlights a critical teaching. Your purpose at the table should align with your values and your destiny. Just as the men and women who fought for freedom at the table of Juneteenth, they had their focus on liberation. And we must ensure that our purpose is not clouded by ulterior motives. Surround yourself with people who share in your purpose and who will uplift you, not betray you when the moment of trial arrives. You know you got the wrong people at the table with you is when you know only certain people know your business and you trying to figure out how did they know your business. You know how they know your business. The people that's at your table told your business. I wish I had somebody in here. And in this season of your life, you got to be very careful, amen, of who's sitting at your table, because the people that's sitting at your table should be able to handle your conversation. Whoa. Oh, come here. I wish I had 5 people that say in this season of my life, I need some people that can handle my conversation when everything is going well. And I need some people that can handle my conversation when everything looks like it's going to hell. But can I share with you, everybody ain't mature enough to handle the conversation of this season of your life. Point 3, I'm almost done. Your power at the table. So number 1, your presence at the table. Number 2, your purpose at the table. Number 3, I'm going to get out of here because don't sweat it out my perm. Your power at the table. At the table, there's power in the words you speak, the actions you take, and the influence you hold them. Jesus had power at the table, not to control it, but to lead with wisdom and authority. He knew Judas was going to betray him. He knew it was coming, and yet chose to to be able to show power through his grace, through his knowledge and his understanding. Even when facing betrayal, Jesus did not lash out or retaliate. Oh, God, let me help y'all in here, because I'm starting to learn that people are starting to lash out and starting to react in ways that is not godly, because, watch this, you chose the people that's sitting at your table. Oh, y'all ain't helping me. How you gonna act the way you act and you chose them? A friend of mine was talking to her mom one day, and she told her mama, she said, Pastor, I was just crying and crying, and I told my mama, I don't know what I'm going to do with him, this and third. She said, eventually, after she got through crying to her mama, she said, Mama, why you ain't saying nothing? Her mama said, you chose him. In this season, you got to be prayerful of who you choose to connect with. Similarly, your power at the table isn't about exerting control. Because there's many people, even in the church, that want to get seats at the table because they believe it's going to give them some control. But a seat at the table is not about control. It's about having a spirit to lead with wisdom. Judas had the same opportunity to wield power for good, but he chose to betray. And we must be careful with the power and the dynamics that we present at the tables. Are the people with you leveraging their influence to help you? Or are they doing it to harm you? We see it all around this political spectrum. There are people that's using their power not to help the American people, but they're using it to harm the American people. And can I tell you, it don't matter sometimes how we try to pray about it. There are still people that will vote one way because they don't care who sits at the table. Power at the table must be handled with integrity. It must be ensuring that it builds and not breaks your relationships. But can I tell you, you got to also understand your priority at the table. I don't know if Judas really knew what his priority was, but your priorities should be evident to those you allow at your table. Jesus had his priorities in order. His priority was fulfilling the will of the Father. He continued to serve, to teach, and lead even in the face of betrayal. When we look at Juneteenth, the priorities were clear: freedom and justice for all. But however, Judas' priority was self-serving. He was focused on his own desires. He was focused on his own greed. And we must ask ourselves, what are our priorities in this season of your life? And how many people are willing to sit at your table, watch this, not to help you to get to where you need to be, but they're there to suffocate you from what God is trying to do in your life? Oh, what do you mean by this, Pastor? There are people that surround you to help build you up, but then there are some people that surround you to suffocate you, to keep you down. You got to be careful in this season, because I've had to tell individuals in this season of my life, you got to be very careful, because you got to know the position at the table. Fifth, and I'm done, the position at the table, because in this season of your life, I don't want people to sit down at the table with me that you can't lead the table and stand up for me. Okay, five of y'all just missed that. I want you to write that down. I said, in this season, I don't want people that want to sit down at the table with me, that when you get up, you can't go out there and stand up for me. I wish I had 3 people that can say, in this season, if you gonna sit down with me, you gonna stand up for me. It is. Your position at the table is not about knowing where you stand. Yeah, Jesus knew his position at the table. Even as others were unsure what would transpire, Judas thought seated among disciples was in a position of distrust, and eventually it led him into betrayal. Can I tell you, some people can camouflage their way into your life. I'm going to get out of here. Some people can camouflage their way in your life, and they come looking like a friend. They come looking like, they say stuff like this: that's my bro. That's your bro, while you're talking about him so bad behind his back. I've seen ladies do it on social media. They do be taking pictures. This is my sis. And why are you talking about her so bad behind your back if that's your sis? People would camouflage themselves in this season. Oh, be careful who's sitting at the table, because he was seated among the disciples, meaning he looked apart. He looked like the rest of them. He looked like he was on Jesus' side, but really his heart was not with Jesus. But here it is. I tell you, Judas had a seat at the table, but his heart was not aligned with the mission, causing him to act against the very person who had welcomed him. Ain't it bad that when you allow your heart to get so bad that the people who have tried to be there for you, you betrayed them? Ain't it bad when your heart gets so bad, you get so caught up with life that you'll turn on the very people that loved you? Have you ever seen children who turn on their parents, and they the ones who kept a roof over your head all your life? But because they didn't buy you a car one year, now you talking about your mom and dad ain't no good parents. You ate the bacon, you ate the eggs, you ate all the pancakes. They have been good to you. But when something don't go your way, oh, y'all talk to me, because there's some adults in here right now, even on Father's Day, you still talking about how I don't even deal with my daddy like that. But yet there's somebody in here whose father is gone and dead and wish they could have a conversation with them. Can I suggest to somebody here, you need to go sit at the table with your father and have a conversation. Painful truth is, Judas, I'm done, despite his position at the table. Watch this. This is going to help you. Despite his position at the table, he truly was never part of the team. he was an outsider in spirit. I wish I could have told Judas a few things. I wish I could have told him. David was anointed to sit at the table. But guess what? That table attracted enemies. Because he had the anointing and handled his enemies correctly, God provided overflow. Don't miss this. Now, no wonder that's why David said in Psalm 23:5 that he prepares a table before me. Where did he do it, Pastor? In the presence of my enemies. What did he do? He anointed my head with oil. And what happened? My cup runneth over. See, y'all don't understand that this scripture ain't just about sitting at the table. It's about sitting at the table that God has ordained for you. And you got to get rid of this thought in your mind that you're supposed to be in company of everybody. You're supposed to be friends with everybody. You got to get to a point and say, God, put me at the table that you want me to sit at. Open up the doors that you want me to sit at. And maybe in this season, God is saying, I watch this because he's giving an anointing on your life. There's favor on your life. There'll be somebody here that says, you know what? I just recognize God don't want me sitting at the tables because it's a season where I'm about to build my own table. This is a season where God is about to bring some gifts. I wish I had 5 of y'all in here that says this is the season that I'm building my own table. Here's understanding. I'm done when I say this. I try to stay hip a little bit. And my children sometimes remind me I'm not that hip no more. I'm 47 hip. Don't y'all laugh. Some of y'all 50-something hip and 60-something hip. You don't know the verbiage. But it was the hip-hop prophet by the name of Lil Wayne who said, they don't make them like me no more. Matter of fact, they never made them like me before. I wish I had somebody. I got misunderstood when Lil Wayne said that, but then I said, Lil Wayne's so arrogant. But then I said, no, Lil Wayne wasn't being arrogant. What Lil Wayne was just doing was having confidence in himself. I need to know that there are some people that in this season that says God made me the way he made me for a reason. In this season, you got to be okay how God has made you. Because God says, watch this, I beautifully made you, wonderfully and beautifully made. And you ought to be happy to know that the tables that God has for you in this season, it needed your personality. The tables that God are putting you in this season, it needed your skill set. The tables that God are putting you in this season, it needed somebody who had a heart of love. You ought to be happy this morning that God has put you in the right. Now here's the flip side of the shout, Raven. Here's the flip side of the shout. Somebody's prayer need to be this morning, Lord, remove me from some tables. Lord, remove me from some tables. I've come to discover as pastor, some of my time has expired at some tables. Oh, y'all ain't gonna help me. Some of you have sat at some tables too long. You've been in some relationships too long. You've been on that job too long. Your prayer need to be, Lord, I'm done. To me, I had never heard that song before except to the other day. I like that little lyric. I'm going to have to go listen to it again. They don't make them like me no more. Matter of fact, they never made them like me before. I like that little thing. I like it. Am I saying it right? You better look at me like I'm saying it wrong. Am I saying it right? Y'all better write that one down. Lil Wayne got me with that one. They don't make them like me no more. Matter of fact, they never made them like me before. Charles, that thing got me. Because I had to quickly stop being so hard on myself. And I had to start saying, God knew what he was doing when he made me. So here it is. when you don't understand your purpose, when you don't understand your value, when you don't understand what God created you to do, you'll try to fit in at tables that you ain't supposed to be sitting at. But since I understood what God has on my life, the call God has on my life, I'm okay not sitting at every. Okay, I'm done. I remember one time we were trying to get a table. I'm done. Stand up so we can get done. We were trying to get a table. And went in there. And because I'm Quin Baker, I just had to do it my way. And I ain't gonna tell no lie. Somebody had said, "Did you call to make reservations?" I said, "No, you ain't got to worry about that. We good. We good." Get to the restaurant, and Quin Baker walks up, talk to the hostess. "Hey, what's up? Put me now. Blah, 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 blah. You have reservations?" "No, I'm good. Baker for 13. "Sir, it's going to be a minute for us trying to sit 13. "Look, man, just put me down, Baker for 13. You know how you start talking low. You don't want your people to know." I tried it. I even tried to bribe him a little bit. "Look, I'll give you 20 if you could just put it down. You know what I mean? Such. Let me tell you what God would do for you. Because I didn't have reservations. I had to watch so many people get seated at the tables and eat before I eat. And God shared something with me that many years ago. See, I got reservations for you. But you're trying to do it your own. I have reservations for you at certain tables. But because you're doing it your way, now watch this. Not only did I suffer, but the people who was with me suffered as well because of how I handled sitting at the table. Can I tell you, in this season, recognize it's not about just you. The people at your table are being impacted by not living wise lives. The people that's at the table with you, watch this, they're being impacted because you won't stand up for truth. You know how many people won't tell their friends the right thing because they just won't stand up for truth? Some of y'all, just be honest, you got people at your table, you want to just tell them, "No, you lost that job because you was late." Y'all ain't helping me. I mean, what if you had real friends at your table? Every time I went to that job, they were just always, they so messy on that job. And you know how messy your friend is, but you won't tell her. Who's sitting at your table? In this season of your life, as you go to the next level, you got to evaluate your table. You got to evaluate who's sitting at the table, your position at the table, your purpose for being at the table, the power that's at the table. But here's the whole shout of Judas. If I could have been at the table, Chris always said, "Judas, don't you do nothing stupid." He said, "Is it I?" "Yep, it's you." You know what happens when you suffer in a moment of embarrassment in front of everybody? Everybody knows it's you. What do you do when everybody knows you've gone through something? What do you do when everybody knows that you've fallen? What happens? Sometimes it gets so bad, you get a Judas spirit, and Judas went and killed himself. And that's why I say to the body of Christ sometimes God brings you to the table to help people out of their misery and not to cause them and go do something to themselves. But what happened when the body of Christ is so critical and we don't know how? You got to say, "God, why did you bring me to this table?" Because here it is. If they would have known that Judas was going to kill themselves, I would have been able to tell Judas, if you just wait 3 days, The same man that you betrayed is about to give his life for you, Judas. If you can just wait 3 days. The same man you betrayed is about to let them put nails in his hand and nails in his feet. Judas, if you could just hold on. Can I share some people in here that's been wanting to give up? Look at somebody saying just 3 days. Look at somebody saying just 3 days. God's finna move on your behalf. But you got to have not the spirit of Judas. You got to have the spirit that I'm not going to give up. I'm going to push through in this season because I believe I'm at the right table. I got the right people at my table. But God, if the right people ain't at my table, remove who don't need to be at the table. But if anybody can be at my table, God, I need your presence. Shout, I'm done. I'm done. Do me a favor. I want you to hold your neighbor's hand. I want you to hold your neighbor's hand. And say, neighbor, don't give up. Judas, watch this. The reason why I've got to a place where I don't argue with people as much as I do and all that kind of stuff, because I learned that conscience will beat you more than anything. It'll beat you more than anything. The disciples didn't say nothing to Judas. Judas just went and killed himself. He could not handle mentally what he did to Jesus. Can I tell you, this is not a season for you to go fight with people. This is not a season for you to try to pay people back. This is not that season, because here it is. God knows how to handle people. God, you can't handle it. You go over there and do something, you're going to get locked up. He's already paid the price. But in this season, you got to say, Lord, I need to be at the right table. Taurus, the songs, I don't know the song, but there was a song that the choir was saying, come over here while the table is spread and the feast of the Lord is going on. In this season, you need to be at the table where the presence of the Lord is. And you can feast in this season. You can't sit at that table no more. Can I tell you, you've outgrown that table. Oh, okay. Brandon, this was going to hurt some people. But could you imagine being at a table where you're the only one in an adult seat, and then all the other adults are in kiddie seats? And you're looking around like, why is everybody sitting like that? Because you've outgrown the table. Fathers, there's some tables that we got to create for our neighborhoods. They don't want us to sit at their table. Omar helped me the other day. We was talking. Omar was saying, I remember something that we used to do at my church I came from. And Omar ain't forgot that yet. It's been on my mind. Because you know what God said? Create the table. We'll create it. That there are things that God is saying in this season. I'm not going to sit you at another table. You're about to create a table. What you went through, he says you're about to create a table. I let you go through that because there's a book I want you to write. You're about to create a table. Oh. I wish I had some people here that really understood where you are in this season and why the enemy want to break you down in this season. He does not want you at tables that's going to build you up. Ask your neighbor, are you at the right tables? Are you at the right tables? Listen to me. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. Oh, glory. It has to be so important to you that today, when you leave here, at some point today, you really go evaluate your tables. You can't live another day like this. You can't go another moment like this. You forced yourself to be at a table. You've just been sitting there. And watch this. What do you do that you've been sitting at a table that they don't even talk to you no more at the table? But you at the table. And I come to discover that some people are in a season right now that you're at tables with people that only two people are important at the table. Not in this season. Somebody say, not me. This is a season. God is about to take you to another level. But I'm telling you, this next level will be contingent upon you being okay with changing tables. I dare you take 60 seconds. Whoever on your left or whoever your right, pray for them. Pray for them right now. Pray for them.
Connecting the church and the community. That's our vision here at Pleasant View. Will you join us tonight in sowing a $25 seed to help us in our community efforts? The ways to give are coming to you now.
Here's this week's edition of the People's Church News. Join us for EmpowerU every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. in our lower level as we feature the book Living Victoriously in Difficult Times with Pastor Q. It's a G1 summer experience. Go ahead and purchase your tickets for our Six Flags trip on July 12th, departing at 10:45 a.m. But wait, you have to purchase your ticket now. The bus only has 55 slots available, and car riders must still register. Register now on our website by scanning the QR code or visiting us at pvbcva.org/events. Ladies, are you ready? The Her Story Women's Ministry is back for Rejuvenation 25, and tickets are now on sale. You can purchase your tickets on our website at pvbcva.org/events or scan the QR code on the screen. Tickets are only $50 and they are ready to have an amazing experience at Rejuvenation 25. G1 is back outside this Sunday for a Sunday Field Day. Be sure to bring your student out for a morning of fun, food, and most of all, exciting games. The suggested attire is plain white t-shirts and athletic gear.